Let's talk about emergencies. Now, we've all had those times when some really pitiful case came up and just touched our hearts and we knew we had to do something. There's just no looking away from some of them. You see them and you see your name on them, right? You got to do something. Well, in an ideal world, you keep some cash on hand for that kind of situation, right? You don't run your rescue bank account down to zero. You know you're going to get a couple of these a year. You keep some money in there. And don't laugh, all right? I know you didn't laugh, but try to keep $3,000 to $5,000 in your rescue account. I know that's a lot for a lot of small rescues, but you need to work towards maintaining that cushion, just like you should have a cushion for your household. So if you're not able to do that, then we need to talk about your community and fundraising overall. That's a different subject entirely. Right now we're talking about that unexpected emergency. Today it was a black and tan coonhound that a friend stepped up to rescue. Poor fellow's just beat to hell. He's over at UT Hospital now, and she had to put out a plea for donations to help. I do think she probably has a prudent reserve on hand, but in this case, since it wasn't budgeted, she went ahead and asked the community for help. So let me give you 5 quick tips that will help your sudden emergency plea pull in a lot more cash. Before we even get to those, you know the number one thing you need, right? Even apart from good words and a compelling description, you gotta have pictures, right? So whatever you have to do, get good pictures. Get pictures on eye level with the dog, if you can, looking straight into his eyes so that you see the soul there. X-rays are good to have as well, but nothing is gonna substitute for that face on, full look me in the eyes, camera level picture of the dog you're trying to help. So do whatever you have to do to get that. A lot of times the vet tech at the hospital will help you by snapping some pictures. Get as many as you can, but go for that one money shot. And you know what it is. You've seen them on Facebook and in other appeals. Go for that money shot. Get that first. Then you go out to your community, which hopefully you have built, and say, hey, guys, look at this face. How could we not help? They'll see what you see. If you have not built your community, you have a problem. You need to have on the order of about 1,000 donors to run a $50,000 to $60,000 rescue safely and without too much drama every year. So if you don't have 1,000 donors, we have at ARI we have actually 1,302 people who are regular participants in auctions and other fundraisers or just straight out donations. If you don't have 1,000 donors, you need to work on getting that. Again, a subject for a different video entirely. Right now we're just talking about emergencies. So put out this appeal, put out a direct appeal, use great pictures, and give contact information if people want to donate directly to the vet or the boarding facility or something like that. Just do a straight out appeal. Do not whine about not having enough money. Do not whine about, oh my God, I do so much and nobody ever helps me. Just lay out the situation. I like to use our 3 adjective template, and that's available at jdonate.com or Obey the Beagle. I'll include a link in this so you can download that. It's free. It's just a 4-paragraph way of approaching appeals that will make your job a lot easier. And it starts with 3 adjectives that are specific triggers. So that's it, the first thing. Make that appeal, ask for what you need, and get the picture. The second thing you can do is, and this is so simple and so many people don't do it, when you post an appeal, ask for people to share it on their timeline, to their social media accounts, and to tag anybody who might be able to help. Ask for that share and tag. So simple, too many people don't do it. The next tip, this is very cool. I just saw this work today. If you've got someone who's willing to donate a significant amount, say even $100, $200, $500, $1,000, something like that. We did this today with $100. ask them if they'd be willing to make it a donation challenge. And what we did with this black and tan was I posted, hey, the way station will match every donation, dollar for dollar, up to $100 from the way station to help this dog. Who would like to start us off with a $5 or $10 donation? In the end, we had 3 donors step up immediately and donate a total amount of $100. The way station matched that out of our emergency fund, and boom. 3 people who may not have donated were willing to donate when they knew that their sacrifice would be doubled with a match. Always ask for that matching donation. That's a really powerful way to do it. You can do it for $20 donations too. You can say, who will give 20 and bring a friend to give 20, or something like that. It's a variation on the 10 for 10 sort of fundraisers you've seen before. But matching donations, we just did that this morning, and we had our match done, met within about an hour, and $100 became $200 very, very quickly. The next thing you need to do is translate your donations into what they're actually going for, because a lot of times we may not actually need money. What we need is money to do something. In this case, it's pay for bedding, so we do need some cash. Dog food. If we need money to support fosters, translate that into what it costs a day to support that dog and ask for that. Can you feed Henry the Coonhound for 2 days? $5 a day takes care of his food. Admittedly, that's eating well, but $5 a day takes care of his food, a proportion of his heartworm, a proportion of his worming, a couple of treats. $5 a day will help fund Henry's rescue. Now, these donations go to your general fund, so you don't have to buy $5 a day dog food for Henry, who would be probably get sick with pancreatitis over how rich that food would be. But translate what that donation into what it's going to do. And if you've ever watched these Save the Children commercials and appeals for donations, they do a beautiful job of this. They really do. Feed this orphan in Bolivia who lives on a mountain. Here's her picture. For $5 a day, that sends her to school and buys rice and beans for her family for 3 weeks. I mean, they do a beautiful job of that. Translate your ask into a physical object. For this surgery for this dog, if you need surgery, you could translate it into 10 screws that will go on the plate to hold his leg in place. You could translate it into 2 cc's of antibiotics. Translate what you're asking for into something physical so people can feel like they are participating in the care of this dog. And I'll put a note down in the link, but we have let me show you an example of it. I'll pop up an example of how we do this with J Donate, where we put up a feeding calendar and say, feed this dog for a day for $5. And it's a wonderful way to gamify things and get people almost like playing a game to feed this dog and watch the calendar fill up, which is sort of a matching dopamine thing. We've got some great software for that. So the next thing is, if you're not going to keep a stash of cash on hand to cover these sort of things, keep some sort of small goods. Like one time we did neckerchiefs with paw prints on them, and I ordered like 100 of them from Oriental Trading for $20, $30, not much at all. And when we had an emergency, I would put one up and say, hey, can you contribute? And I'll send you this neckerchief. Contribute $5, boom, I'll send you this. The neckerchief would cost like 20 cents, I think, by the time we prorated it, plus it fit in an envelope, so some postage. It feels like they're doing something more. And more importantly, you're putting something back in their hands so that every time they look at this, they're thinking of your organization and how they help this dog, and they feel good about that. This is about your donor's experience. You want them to feel part of. So keep a supply of small goods on hand. The other thing that we've done, which was a little bit more expensive to get started was some safety cards. And let me pop a picture of those. These cards say, if I'm alone in the hospital or unconscious from an accident or something, please have someone check on my dogs. This is the contact person who's agreed to check on my dogs. It's a card that goes in your wallet. So if the hospital is searching you to try to figure out who you are after you've been in an accident, they'll come across this card. It's got a little key fob that goes on your keys that says, if I'm injured, please make sure my dogs are taken care of. And it's in hard plastic. It's like one of those grocery store loyalty cards. And these are just excellent. I think it ran about $300 to order 100 of them. And my graphics guy just designed it on their template. And then we were able to sell them for $10, $15, as well as give them to some other rescues to sell as well. They're really a great thing to do. Finally, if you're short and it's an emergency, look for donations in kind. This is very similar to quantifying the donation in physical terms, but a donation in kind supplies one need so that you can use your available cash for the emergency. For instance, with the kennel, it's always dog food. I mean, we would go through 15, 20 bags of food every month. And if I have to pay for all the dog food, that leaves left for emergencies. But if I stay stocked up on donated dog food, that frees up the cash for things that you can't pay for in kind. So, a couple of ways that you can help pump up your donations. Make the ask. Make sure you ask for the donation. You know, don't just say, oh, we've got this terrible situation. Can you help? No. Ask them to send money. All right. Ask them to send money. Ask them to share. And ask them to tag friends who might be able to help. Look for matching opportunities. These can even be done with dog food. But for the most part, you want a cash donation that's, you know, usually $100 is the minimum I'll do them with. We've done them with 500 and 1,000 as well, which were very successful. A lot of people will give if they think their donation is being doubled. Translate everything into physical goods where you can. Keep something on hand for a small sort of little flash sale that you can do. And don't forget to thank everybody. If you got any questions, pop them in the comments. I'll try to get to them. In the meantime, stay safe, get prepared for your emergencies. And for more information, head over to jdonate.com and I'll show you how to really do some cool stuff. Thanks, everybody. For more information on raising money, please go to jdonate.com. See you there.